community since 1962.
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salaam Radio. Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
It's now 6 o'clock.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening everyone. Welcome once again to the Peterborough Property Guide on Salaam Radio. Hope you've had a great start to the week. You're with myself, Kazafi Sadiq, the host of the Property Guys, alongside my two co-hosts today. Well, two co-hosts, and one host who's going to play a big part in half the show, James Dawson. Guys, Adam Cooper and James Dawson, welcome to the show, the Peterborough Property Guys.
Hi guys, how's everyone today? How you doing, Kazafi? You alright?
Amazing, I'm really good, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing good.
How's business, guys?
Phenomenal.
How are you finding it, end of the year?
It's got busier than the start of the year. It's been crazy.
Really busy, actually. Bizarrely.
I don't know how it's
As
flipped around.
Everyone thinks it's quiet this time of year. It's not.
It's not, is it?
It's not.
Everyone's trying to get the deals done before Christmas.
Oh, we love a good deal before Christmas.
Good little Christmas present, isn't it?
Exactly. What better than a house for Christmas, huh?
I've noticed, especially in the sales, properties are exchanging a lot quicker. Normally they take like 3 months, probably 4 months, but now it's been like 6 weeks about it.
We had one go through in 5 weeks, 4 days.
Yeah, wow.
Fair play to Joe in the office.
So it just shows you that kind of end of the year. It does slightly slow down towards the Christmas time, but just prior to that, even the solicitors try and work with you to get the deals done. So, everyone could settle in for Christmas time.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I normally find the main thing that causes a slowdown around Christmas and the holidays is just that the business is closing down. Closing early for the holidays has a dominoes effect on everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of solicitors that I want to say it's either the Friday the 19th or 20th that they're working to that, and then that's it. They're off for a bit.
I thought for solicitors it was like Friday the 1st, no?
It's not fair.
Looking too ahead there now, guys. So, as mentioned, we've got Adam Cooper, as always, with us, in the studio, talking about the property market with us. And we also got James Dawson from Wilson & Co. Homes. Is that right?
It is right.
Wilson & Co. Homes, who's going to be joining us once a month to talk about the Peterborough property market, as well as the property market in general. So, guys, we're bringing to you on Salaam Radio, as mentioned, every Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. The show, the Peterborough Property Guys. So we're live on Salaam Radio on 106.2 FM. You can listen to us online by visiting salamradio.co.uk or watch the show on our streaming services by searching Salaam Radio on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram or Twitter. If you do prefer mobile, then you can download the Salaam Radio app through the App Store or Google Play. Salaam Radio is always on air 24/7, 365 United All Communities. So today's guest is an absolute amazing guest that we got on, who's going to be joining us in the second half of the show. So guys, make sure you tune in to listen to the one and only Parry Power. For those who are thinking, Parry Power, never heard of him. Well, Parry Power is a very established estate agent over in Reigate. Now, Parry Power's story of becoming an estate agent is quite an interesting one. I asked Parry to send me a bio of his kind of journey on becoming an estate agency, and he sent me one line.
That's all he needs.
And I was like a bit baffled. I was like, "Bro, you being serious?" He's like, "Yeah, this is what I do." He basically said, "I help people move on to the next chapter of their life. This is what I do for a living." Okay, fair enough. So, guys, you will hear more about Parry Power's story in the second half of the show, so make sure you do tune in. As mentioned, Parry Power, he's got his estate agency over in Reigate called Power Bespoke. Parry is also a estate agency business mentor, as you could say. He helps other estate agents improve their services in many formats. I've been one of them, James been another. So we will also share with you our experience and how we benefited from Parry Power and how Parry Power has helped many estate agents all over the country. So today's topics, as you guys are aware, we've got the general elections around the corner. We've got about just over a week, 12th of December. We're not going to ask you guys or the guys in the studio who they're going to be voting. Let's keep that private. However, we are going to be talking about how the Conservative and the Labour Party is going to be influenced in the property market. So, guys, if you are interested in learning about how this is going to benefit the property market, or which party is going to benefit the market the most, we're also going to be touching on some of the topics about the past and how the Labour Party has influenced the property market in the past, what they've done for the property market, and similarly with the Conservatives. So, if you've got any questions, I'm pretty sure you guys have. I know a lot of people, I think politics has become a very, very touchy topic nowadays.
Always has been, isn't it?
Yeah, I think more now than ever, purely because of social media. I think a lot of people can express their views, and you get to read people's comments, etc. So, hopefully, we don't want to get too personal. But guys, if you've got any questions, then do get involved in the show by dialing the studio number on 01733 602 133, or you can text or WhatsApp on 077 45 278. But before we do go into the topics of how the parties are going to be benefiting, with the pros and cons of both parties, we'd ask Adam Cooper, our main guy, every week, telling us why people should tune in to the Peterborough Property Guys on Salaam Radio. Adam, fire away, tell everyone why should they listen to us guys talk about the Peterborough Property market.
So now that was me, because I've been thinking that we'd told them so many times to put so much value that we didn't need to tell them anymore. But I guess I'll have to go ahead. So guys,
fire away, mate. You
need to come and join us every single Tuesday between 6 and 7 p.m. because we fill you with all the greatest news, all the new rules and regulations, and all the information that's going to help you along your property journey. I mean, anyone out there doing property alone, it is a lonely journey, and that's why you need experts such as James, such as Kazafi. I'm not branding myself as an expert, but I like to think I know a thing or two to guide you along the way. And we learn from the locals as well, like local solicitors and the other agents. So guys, it's a tough game out there, and knowledge truly is power with this. So come and join us every week, 6 to 7 on a Tuesday on Salaam FM.
I'd like to add, obviously, whilst I'm not here, obviously I see the guests that you come in.
Yep.
And it's true, massive variety of the different types of people you've got on, giving advice and help. And kudos to you guys. So fair play. And obviously I'm here once a month, so that's worth a tune in, surely.
That's the main bit. I don't know about you, because I've seen him reason I turned up today.
Well, James is being quite modest there, because James is a popular guy, especially on social media. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are tuning in to what James, in particular, talk about the property market. So, guys, let's start off with this show, focusing on the Labour Party. So the topic that we want to be discussing, Labour Party's U-turn on the 570 million plus grub on Peterborough landlords' wallets. So as you're aware, with the general election just over the horizon and having been asked by a number of Peterborough homeowners and Peterborough buy-to-let landlords what the different main parties will do to the local property market. So in this week's show, we're going to be talking about how Labour, first of all, is going to be influencing the property market. So, Adam, to start off with, Labour's plan is designed to force landlords to sell the buy-to-let investments to the tenants who wish to buy them at a substantial kind of discount.
Yeah, that is correct. They are proposing something similar to like the council house scheme, where tenants will be able to buy at a substantially discounted rate if they've lived there for a set period of time.
Okay.
Now, it's not as clear cut as it seems, though. I mean, because Labour are now saying that they're not after the landlords with one or two, or as they quote, a few. I don't know how many a few actually comes to when it's their opinion, but a few properties.
Right.
But what they're saying is anyone over 6 is the people they're interested in.
Wow. Okay.
Is forcing them landlords to sell at discounted rates to their tenants, so a tenant buyer. So it's interesting though, because there must be mixed views in this. I don't know how you guys see it with your landlords and your clients, but I know from what I get from local councils and all the rules and regulations going out there, they're trying to push landlords to be more corporate entities with limited companies holding them instead. With more rules and regulations and more tax issues, which then kind of contradicts what we're doing here with landlords over 6 properties, forcing them to give them away, because then it's kind of counterintuitive. So I can see the good and bad from it. It helps a lot of people get on the ladder, doesn't it? And a lot of people. But at the same time, it's going to discourage a lot of landlords. So it's definitely an interesting proposal they're offering there.
Yeah, so the shadow councillor, or chancellor, that's how you pronounce it, John McDonnell.
So we're not judging Kazafi.
Told the FT in September that under a new Labour government, tenants would be given the right to buy their tenanted home with a hefty discount, just like the Tory right to buy policy for council house renters that came into force after the 1979 general election. Now, I don't remember that far back on how that worked, but I mean, this new law that's being enforced, I can imagine it's gonna. Do you reckon it's gonna benefit the tenant massively? Do you reckon they're gonna?
It's
materialise?
This is where we only really drill down on the issue at hand here. You have to ask ourselves, people who are renting. Now, there's going to be a few reasons for it. I mean, one, they might be lifestyle renters. They might like the flexibility. Right, but there's a massive other bit we're missing here, is the fact that it might just be poor money mindset. To put it bluntly,
okay,
not everyone's good with money.
No.
So not everyone wants to tie themselves to a big asset such as a mortgage. Something where they're fixed and, serious consequences if it goes wrong. So I totally see why the Tories did what they did with the council houses, because they are, the lower income, it's going to be struggle to build back up to that property ladders. So I get that makes definite sense. But in this term, is it a case of tenants can't afford it or don't want to afford it?
Well, I mean, with the affordability thing, I mean, sometimes, I quite often speak to tenants and how much they're paying in rent. It could be, paying a regular outgoing, which is maybe half, 2/3 at max of what their rent is. So I think it tends to be a lifestyle reason, really, with people moving about, not wanting a permanent fixed abode, so to speak. The flexibility of what they want to do. Because I say, affordability-wise, rents, as you well know, probably, everybody well knows in Peterborough, they've gone up massively. Still 25% cheaper to buy to live in rather than rent.
Yeah, it's that money up front, isn't it, as well? Did it have
true. It's the deposit. There's saved. Yeah, I get that. I did get that.
So Labour's policy of 20% right to buy discount could cost the Peterborough landlords just over £570 million. What do you reckon they're going to do with that money?
Have a party. That's a lot of money, eh?
That is a lot of money, isn't it?
I'd like to know what they are going to do, but to be honest, I mean, because that is a substantial sum of money. That's if they only discount it by 20% as well.
Wow.
I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, who's going to cover that sum of money on a discount from the landlords?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that's what many landlords have got an issue with. I think, I can personally see the good from this as a landlord myself, but I would be asking is, who's going to make up for the 20% discount that they're talking about? I think everyone wants to help everyone in this world, especially, people where we can. Yeah,
I mean, Labour's got this concept of, helping the needy.
Oh, of course,
taking from the rich and helping the less fortunate.
Exactly.
But obviously, you mentioned
bold statement. No, it's fine.
It is a bold statement, but that's what Labour, their motto is. Not helping.
It's like the redistribution of wealth is what they're saying, isn't it? They're trying to redistribute the wealth so England's like a more level playing field, which again I get.
Yeah.
But then it brings us back down. It's a bit like athletes, isn't it? The athletes and steroids thing. I know they're kind of veering off a little bit, but the analogy, like they say, the best athletes in the world would always be the best, even if there was no steroids or anything involved, because that's just their genetic disposition. And they obviously train hard.
Yeah.
Same with people with money mindset. If you redistribute the wealth today across the whole entire world, chances are the wealthy who are wealthy now would end up back in a similar position, and everyone in the class sets would end up in a similar class again. Some may obviously make a difference, and some may just need that initial uplift. But my bet is that the majority would be back where we are today.
Fair play. Well, I'm going to ask a very bold question now. Is the Labour Party good or not good for the property market?
I would say, in my opinion,
we're estate agents and
obviously we love property,
landlords,
and we invest. So it's pretty biased. But I would say,
okay, not for us. Let's look at it from a landlord's perspective.
Okay, from a purely landlord's perspective, I would say that it's not a good.
Not the best.
Not a good manifesto they're planning on introducing to it.
I'd agree with that.
Like I say, if they were more clear on the 20% discount and this and that, then a lot of landlords would probably be behind it.
Right.
Some of the landlords I know are some of the nicest people I've ever seen, and they'll go above and beyond for their tenant.
Okay.
And they've got more than enough. To go around. So giving up one or two properties at a discount, as long as it's made up for from the government, I'm sure they'd be absolutely over the moon to do it. But I think it's the issue when it comes to saying you're going to force it. No one wants to do something that wasn't their idea. You know? So if someone come and told you to sell your house tomorrow at a discounted price, after you worked so hard, you're going to feel a little bit hard done by. And I can understand. If they said, we're going to sell your house at a discounted price, but we're going to give you the discount and we'll give you X, Y, Z tax breaks as a result, because now you've got to go buy another house, then I'm sure landlords would go, yeah, it seems good.
Fair point.
It's a bigger picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that with everything, it's perspective.
Definitely. Okay, so is there anything else you want to cover on the labour side to it?
Like I say, I want to cast my opinion on it, to be fair. I mean, 'cause I like some of the stuff they're trying to do. I like the way they're trying to help tenants. I really love that. I love the way they are trying to make England a fairer place. I just think a clearer plan on how they're going to redistribute that wealth, and some less vagueness there really would help everyone make a better informed decision about their party, landlords especially, in such a volatile time in the market as well.
So guys, if you've got any questions that you want to put forward to us, or your opinions or your thoughts, we'd love to hear it. You can join us by texting or WhatsApping us on 07745 278978, or you could tune in on Facebook Live, where you could comment, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. So I believe this Thursday there's a event, a general election hustings event that's going to be taking place in the Allama Iqbal Centre at 8 to 10 p.m. So the doors are going to open at 7:30 for a prompt 8 p.m. start. So guys, if you are interested in coming to this event, it's going to be, like I mentioned, the general election hustings event. So please do come along. And on that note, let's play a little ad for you guys.
What we got? I was liking the jingle, that was really catchy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was hoping you were... Oh, we've got Michelle coming. Coming to the rescue.
We got technical difficulties.
Come on, Michelle. What jingle have you got lined up for us? We're all excited. You can cut the tension in here with a knife, guys. While we wait for this jingle, we are so excited for it. Because honestly, your guess is as good as ours what it's going to be. Michelle's surprising us. She's just got her silence saved up. That's what she's got. So, James, how's your week been anyway?
Yeah, really well. I mean, it's Tuesday, but it feels like Thursday, so I must have been busy. Yeah, really, really busy.
The 5th of December, 8
there we go.
at
Back
the
in business.
Allama
Let it jingle out.
We'll put that back on in a second.
Is that me playing in the background? Just can't get away from me, eh? Everywhere I go.
So, excuse that awkward moment, guys. Here's the ad.
Salaam Radio presents General Election Hustings, Thursday the 5th of December, 8 to 10 p.m. at the Allama Iqbal Centre, 157 Cromwell Road, PE1 2EF. Doors open 7:30 p.m. for a prompt 8 p.m. start. All are welcome. Please arrive early to avoid disappointment, as entry will be forbidden when capacity reached. Broadcast live on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM and online at salamradio.co.uk. Watch live on Salaam Radio Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. General Election Hustings, presented by Salaam Radio, Thursday the 5th of December, 8 to 10 p.m. at the Allama Iqbal Centre, Peterborough.
You know what, Kazaf, I really like that music. I think we should have some of that on ours,
Yeah?
It's very uplifting and motivating, wasn't it?
What, better than the beginning?
I don't know. I was so excited about that. I've forgotten what the beginning sounded like, if I'm honest.
That, to be fair.
I like that.
Yeah.
Come on, Michelle, can we get something like buzzing and uplifting like that for us? For like the news headlines or something? We got the thumbs up, guys. That means we're in next week. Nothing but uplifting background themes.
Brilliant. So we've kind of covered the a little bit. We just kind of touched upon the Labour Party and a bit of the manifesto about the property market and how that's going to, what they're looking to do for the rental market in particular. We haven't mentioned anything about the sales. I guess that's kind of covered more or less, isn't it, in terms of what they're going to be doing for.
I don't think they're going to let you broker the deals, Gaddafi, if that's what you're asking.
So, guys, our next topic.
Yeah, so the next topic and the headline of it is, are the Tories selling off the final part of the family silver? 9,095 Peterborough Housing Association households and the right to buy their homes. So you touched on it earlier, obviously, in 79, Margaret Thatcher from my hometown was voted in on a Tory landslide with obviously the right to buy, the right to buy your own council house. And she encouraged obviously people to do that, buy their own council flats and houses. Although it might be of interest to you that the council tenant right to buy idea was actually first proposed in the late 1950s and formed part of the manifesto of the Labour Party. Maggie's version was based on massive discounts for tenants and 100% mortgages, which obviously have just come back out again recently. The 100% mortgage thing, i.e. no deposit. However, the real bugbear was that half of the monies raised from the house sales went to central government and the other half went to local authorities. But that money had to be used to reduce the local authorities' debt rather than building new houses. So houses were being sold and not replaced. In Peterborough specifically, there's 5,802 council homes that have been bought in the last 40 years, which is about an average of 145 a year, which is just under 3 a week. Interestingly, they relaxed the rules in 2012 for the right to buy and raised the highest discount on a property to £75,000. It has subsequently been increased further, and I think probably needed to be, to £100,000 in some parts of the UK, meaning that 62,114 council houses have been sold nationally since the rule changed, raising £6.22 billion since 2012. That's a lot of. That's a lot of notes.
Wasn't a business.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
It's a lot of Queen's heads, isn't it?
You know what I'm surprised about, James? I'm surprised about how little the average of homes bought in Peterborough. It counts out. It's only 145 average per year. That's low, isn't it? You would have thought more. You'd have thought more.
Over the last 40 years, though, isn't it? I'm going to suggest. I'd like to see that plotted over the 40 years. Has there been more in the last 10? I'm going to suggest go back 20 years ago.
What do you think?
That would be what?
How do you think the graph looks?
I don't know. Why have you got one?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I can find one while we're on air. I'm quite interested now as well.
I'm going to say the biggest peak will have been not the last 10, the 10 to 20. That would have been the peak year.
In the 90s?
No, just before, I think.
Just before.
So, but anyway, so you can find that. The Tories basically are stating that one of the biggest divides in our British society is between those who can and those who can't afford their own home. So they plan to establish a new national model for shared ownership, and shared ownership is obviously something that's been
going for quite a while now.
Has been going for quite a while.
But it's new at the same time.
Pardon? But it's new, yeah, and also it's packaged by developers. I think it's packaged up differently as well. It's packaged up by different people and different sort of different ways. But it allows obviously people in the new housing association properties to buy a proportion of their home while paying a lower subsidised rent on the remaining part, helping thousands of lower income earners get a step onto the housing ladder, which I think is severely important. Don't know about you guys, obviously giving people that opportunity too. So basically what for the the tenants of the we mentioned the 9,095 Peterborough Housing Association tenants that they're right now with their rights, what happens sort of with them? The Conservatives have basically said that they will work with the Housing Association on a voluntary basis to determine what rights to buy offer could be made to those Peterborough tenants, although there are already existing rules which give most housing association tenants the right to buy their own home, with only modest discounts of just between £9,000 and £16,000 depending on where you live. So there we go. I mean, the Tories sold off 3,745 council houses in Peterborough whilst in power between 79 and 97, which created waves in the housing market in the 80s, which was a contributing factor to the crash of 87, when dual mirrors tax relief was removed by Nigel Lawson. By selling off the council house in those years, they were accused of selling off the family silver cheaply, hence the headline. This created the foundation of the buy-to-let boom of the early to mid-2000s, because a major shortage of affordable housing being sold in the previous 2 decades.
Right. We're going to be coming to a break in about a minute's time.
Okay.
So we're going to have to wrap here up very soon. But before we do, we've got a question from Dan Wilson.
Okay.
So we've kind of briefly answered this, but we'll ask it anyway for the guys who are probably tuning in late. So Dan's asked, which party are most favourable towards the PRS guys? PRS being the privately rented sector. So
Gotta be the Conservatives.
Gotta be, yeah.
It has to
Yeah.
be. For the
private rented sector,
yeah.
Conservatives are probably the most favourable. So there you go, Dan. You got your answer.
That's not us saying that you should vote Conservatives. We don't want to cause any stirs, but
Absolutely
for
not.
that sector, yes.
That's just the answer for that particular question.
Yeah.
Our decisions will always remain anonymous. Guys, we're going to go for a short break. Don't go away, because we've got the one and only Perry Power joining us. So see you in a few minutes' time.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Property Guys show on Salaam Radio. We obviously in the previous part of the show we were discussing about the pros and cons of the Labour and the Conservative parties and their manifestos and what their intentions are and how that would affect the Peterborough property market. But I'm going to basically connect with Perry Power, who's our special guest host today. Our special guest today. This is my first time hosting any kind of radio show, so you'll have to bear with me too. I'm going to connect him in, and we look forward to hearing his story, how he can help advise you guys and help you with your property journey, whatever you may or may not be doing. So, Perry, are you there?
I am.
Hello there. Lovely to see you.
Hi, Perry.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Good, mate. Really nice to have you on the show. Thank you ever so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Great to be here.
Right, we're going to ask you some questions, but I know your story, Kazafi knows your story, but I'd love you to share with everybody who's listening your story of how you got into the world of estate agency.
But before you do tell us, Perry, I just want to let our listeners know that when I asked you to send me your bio, you simply responded with one line, and that was, I help people move on to the next chapter of their life. Which was quite strange for me because every single one of my guests that I've asked to send my bio, they sent like a whole page. And you sent me one line. So please, as James said, tell us the Perry Power story.
So, yeah, in a nutshell, I enable people to move on to the next chapter of their life. I happen to do that by helping them move house, which makes me an estate agent. But layer onto that, the fact that we help agents, we help anybody. It's about helping and adding value. But to rewind, to answer your question, the reason why I got into estate agency was when I was I've always known since the age of 12 that I really wanted to one day own my own estate agency, and that was due to a really poor experience that my single mum had when I was 12. She was led almost to a breakdown. She was really badly handled. Looking back now, I can see how poor it really was. And at that time in the car, we were sitting in the car outside the house. I remember it clear as day. I kind of said to myself, I'm going to do that one day, but I'm going to do it better than anyone else.
Wow.
And that's when that's where we are today. We've got Power Bespoke today.
Amazing.
And I can see as you were telling that story, a lot about the way I'm aligned. There's an extreme amount of emotion attached to why you do what you do.
Yeah. I mean, it just, no one should be. Moving house is known to be a stressful thing, right? So, estate agents that try and say we remove all the stress, that's just not possible. When people's up sticks and moving their life to a new house or moving to country or location, it's going to be stressful, just period.
Yeah.
No one can make it stress free, but it really shouldn't bring you to tears of anger and depression and that kind of stuff. So I think. Make it as smooth as possible.
And obviously, I know. How long have you been in the industry now, exactly, Perry? In years?
16 years. Since I'm 32 now, and since I was 15, I started as a Saturday boy.
Half your life.
Half my life. Yeah, and that's a long time. Actually,
it is when you talk about it like that. And obviously, you've come across many sort of different experiences within the industry. And, you know, this show is here to bring value to, all the listeners and those who are watching online. And what I'd like you to share really is sort of some top 3-5 tips of basically how people can make the process of moving house less stressful.
Okay, cool. So this is what I do. Good question. So first thing, in my opinion, is choose the right estate agent. Makes it a whole lot more simple and smooth if you choose the right agent in the first place. Depending on what data you're kind of listening to, between 50 and 60% of people end up having to change estate agents before they end up selling their house. That's a huge number.
Why do you think that is, Perry, just out of interest? Because you're right, obviously, I know about that statistic, but why do you think that 50 to 60% of people do have to change their estate agent?
So it sounds really flippant, but because they've chosen the wrong one in the first place. But it's because people aren't asking the right questions, aren't doing the right amount of research, they aren't mystery shopping people. There's a whole load of... So I always say, when you're employing an agent, I think people forget that an agent, the definition of an agent is employing someone to do something on your behalf, right? And I think I try and liken somebody employing an agent. I say to homeowners, imagine you run a business and you're looking to employ a new member of staff for your business. That is exactly what you're doing when you're choosing an estate agent. They're coming to work for you for selling your house and moving house.
Wow.
And when I'd say that to them, they kind of get it, and that there needs to be a telephone interview process, a face-to-face interview process, maybe a little trial, like you would do when you're employing someone to come into your business. So tip 1, choose the right agent, ask the right questions, and do more research in advance.
Good. Yeah. No, it's extremely powerful what you say there, because as you rightly said, obviously it's 50 to 60%, and I think some people will. I think it's fair to say that probably when people go and select an estate agent who's, they might get 2 or 3 out, and they probably, I'd say that 2 of the reasons that they get estate agent gets chosen is 1, because they either like them or they're offering, let's say, the cheapest fee.
Yeah, definitely.
And what you're saying there is people should put them to the test before they've actually been put to work.
Massively.
Yeah.
Ring their office different times a day. What's the experience like? Inquire about houses that agent's currently advertising, posing as a buyer. How quick's their response? You'll be so surprised. I've done it, mystery shopping some competitors, and 3-4 days, no response.
Yeah.
So just do your research, ask the right questions. I think as well, I've lost clients over the years, and they've said, Perry, look, we really liked you, but we're going to go with this agent because they've said my house is worth £40,000 more than you, and we're going to give it a try. And I'm totally, I will continue to try and educate as to why the data that I've provided has kind of said that that's too high. But 9 times out of 10, I would wish them well, hope they do get that price, because I'm not there to dictate the price a house sells for. I'm there to maximise the price it sells for in the market. And then I would get a call back 3 months later saying, can I take over, because I've been asked to reduce, my viewings have kind of dried up. And the biggest bit of advice as well, right? So for people planning on selling, it's really important to understand that I don't know, I've got this blog on my website, and it's an analogy, that's the right word, isn't it? Yeah. About how putting your house on the market is like putting a bunch of flowers in the garden on a fresh summer's day, right? Fresh flowers, the bees are going to swamp to it and they're going to love it. When they've all sucked its dry of pollen, you're then left with just the bees that are passing that bunch of flowers. Hopefully they'll be interested, they might fly over to it, have a little sniff, fly off again. And that's exactly what happens when you put your house on the market. I love that. So,
it is a very good analogy.
Great analogy.
So unless you price well, get all those bees that are buzzing around it when it first launches interested, you're left with the dribs and drabs and people coming into the market, and that ain't going to get you the best price. And so when they call me back, let's say it's a £600,000 house and they've gone on the market for 640 and they've become that dying bunch of flowers, you're probably going to have to reduce the price below 600 to kind of reinvigorate the marketing. And so it's 9 times out of 10, it costs people a lot more money than it makes them by marketing their house too high and being led down a garden path by an agent that wants to hit their listings quota, and they want to tie you into a 26-week contract and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we're all about education in the house.
Yeah, and one thing obviously that I love what you do is not only are you trying to help and educate people who are selling their homes, and you know, I know that you offer plenty of advice online for that. Is what I think is even better is you're trying to educate the people in different areas around the UK, i.e. the estate agents around the UK. You're trying to offer them help, advice and education as to how to serve their clients better. What was the motivation behind doing that? Because it's one thing to do it for the clients that you're looking after, but it's also another thing to say, hey, look, this is what I'm doing, it's amazing, you go and do it, and you know you're going to benefit from that too.
It's quite interesting you asked that, because it's like Perry's secret recipe.
Correct.
Who would want to give away their secret recipe? And Perry, you do that religiously on a daily basis. So hats off to you for that. But please, as James said, why?
So it's really interesting. So I'm one of these people that believe that the only competition is the person looking at you in the mirror, right? So I don't feel like, and I've seen it in my local patch. So forgetting people around the country, I've seen people word for word copy our content locally, which I don't worry about, because I know that I'll have something. It keeps me on my toes. You can never rest on your laurels. But an interesting story. So when I was 21. I set up my own agency, 2010, so I was 22. And at that point, I was really full of, I wanted a power bespoke office in every town in the country at that point. I was on world domination. But then I had a son, he's now 10 years old. I've got another son who's 7. I've got another son who's 2 years old. And your kind of life perspective changes a little bit. So I'm really happy in our little hub here, down in Reigate in the southeast. And I don't see myself opening any more offices probably in the next 12 to 24 months. Certainly I won't open any more offices. If our team wants to open more, then great. But I want to help people all over the UK. I want to help that person with their house up north somewhere. I want to make sure they get the best price for it. So I started putting out content, and I got a website just dedicated to advice on a free basis. Just take it, download the guides, implement the advice, and you'll have a more successful sale. But because I don't want loads more offices across the country, the easiest and quickest and actually most rewarding way to help those people in Peterborough and up north and in Scotland is to do it through the agents that will be sitting in the living room. So I do it. I get more. One of my goals was to fix a broken industry. It's a bit harsh, but I do think the industry is broken.
I think it's right. I think you're right though when you say that.
Yeah, and so I can do that. I get double reward, because I see these lovely agents all over the country that were once upon a time really bored of agency and sick of the norm, and I find I help them find their kind of level 2 and really fall back in love with it again. So that's a great reward for me. But then I also know that person is going to be helping that homeowner. So I know that through them, I've helped the homeowner. And probably my most amazing story, quickly before I rattle on, is I went to go and give a day's kind of consultancy and training to an agency in the Cotswolds, and they had 20 agents in the room with me for half a day, just talking about maybe the more modern way of doing it, right? And there's this guy in the room who was 64 years old, and he said to me at the end of it, he came over to me and said, I was a little bit, I've been doing it 20 years or whatever it was, 30 years. And he said, after speaking to you today, I don't want to retire. I want to go and do it for another 30 years.
Love that.
Amazing.
And he was due retirement. And that to me was like, that's exactly, agency needs to be a fun yet focused thing. And there's too many people that are, that's what, we've got a pool table in the back here, and we've got a table football around the corner.
Is the dog not in today?
Not in today, no. Roxy Ruru. But you should have fun doing it, but it's really focused, really serious stuff. Negotiation's a skill. Strategy and the plan around selling a house don't just fall out the sky. You've got to have it for your client to have reassurance that they're going to get the best outcome. So yeah, I love it. Good.
No. I absolutely relate to that, and I said massively admire obviously what you do, and I'm a believer in sort of giving away secrets and content and as much as possible, and for free.
Another thing on that as well, James, is that what I find is you can give away as much as you want, but someone's got to actually receive it and run with it.
Of course.
And 9 times out of 10, I've seen it with my own. Yeah. I've seen it with my own online resource. I've seen people that have paid £1,000 to join it a year ago and never logged in. Like,
I know you can.
Am I giving away secrets, or am I just giving people the option to learn, but they don't want to? That's up to them. I'm massive on implementation and focus. I won't spend a penny unless I know I'm going to be putting in the hard yards afterwards.
Absolutely. I'd say before I go on, do you guys want to ask any questions at all? Because Adam, obviously.
Yeah, I was quite interested. I know we all look at it from the estate agent's point of view, don't we, from helping clients, but Perry, what would you suggest as like a newcomer coming into the industry then? Like a trainee negotiator? Because obviously they're quite often sucked into the corporate world, which we all know is very much of what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So how can they better themselves and make the right moves?
So most people will come into the industry as an employee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool. But don't wait for your employer to invest in you. So invest in yourself. You know, consume books, go on courses, join stuff like I've got out there, and just really be a real stickler. I was really lucky because I only met my wife, who we're now married, but I only met her. I'm 32 now. I met her 4 years ago, going on 5 years. So up until I was like late 20s, it was just me and a phone and clients. There's nothing else really, apart from my son Bailey, he was from a previous relationship, so I do at weekends. I just went deep with obsession of knowledge, and I think as a young trainee coming in, a lot of them wait to be sent on the training courses and stuff, but take it in your own hands, consume content, sign up to get a coach outside of work maybe, and just go and crush it and pick up the phone, ring.
So it's all about the conversations, isn't it?
Yeah,
all about it.
Oh, it is. And like Barry says, it's all about educating yourself. I think so many people don't take control of their own destiny that way. Like you say, just pick up a book. There's loads of books.
Yeah, or an audio book if you can't. It's not you. I'm not the world's biggest fan of reading, but I'll listen to audio content all day long.
Oh, I totally get you there.
I still to this day, when the missus is out, the kids are in bed, I'll flick on YouTube and I'll search Warren Buffett and see what videos are out there about Warren Buffett, and I'm still a massive learner. We're always learning.
You have to.
That I'm learning from every time we speak. Invest in yourself, and also I'm a big fan on that whole put your own gas mask on first. If I'm not keeping myself knowledgeable and stuff, I can't help other people. Absolutely.
Kazafi?
Well, Perry, I think what you've done for the estate agency industry is absolutely amazing, and I really say that because estate agency is known to be transactional, and it's dubbed to be the evil necessity. You know, people choose it, you know, without
the evil necessity.
Yeah, precisely. But I think what you've done, you know, I can only talk from my experience. You know, I'm going to be very honest. I had the very same mindset. I've been doing it for almost a decade myself. And I always thought it's all about the numbers. But ever since I kind of met you last year, I attended your Built to Grow boot camp, and that really changed and shifted my mindset. And it's not about, you know, what you do, it's about why you do it. And that's one thing I really learned from you know, Built to Grow, and obviously going on your course. So I just want to say what you're doing is absolutely amazing job. You're changing the industry. You know, you're changing estate agents' mindsets.
My only wish would be that more people would listen to you and sort of follow what you're doing. I mean, I know that obviously my career in the estate agency world is just over 2 years. I'm 39 years old. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I wish I was involved donkeys ago. And I know for a fact that some other agencies in Peterborough have implemented what we've implemented off the back of other ideas that we've seen. And I know for a fact that that's giving a better experience to the people that are not selling through us, but selling through other agencies in Peterborough that have implemented the same things that we did. And it sounds ridiculous, but I absolutely love that. And I love to see that other people are doing what we're doing, just because it's a better experience. And there's going to be less and less of those phone calls saying, help me, I've been tied into this 6-month contract. I don't know what to do. They're asking me to pay XYZ to get out of it. So hats off for that. Obviously, this show's about educating, helping people and whatever, and we don't want to blow too much proverbial up, you know, Perry.
yeah.
But you know, done a phenomenal job with obviously what you're doing. I would like to speak to you because it is a common ongoing topic that I think is relevant to all listeners if they're thinking of selling, about the online agency model. You know, there's a very, very, and it's probably in most cities probably one of the most let's say, purple coloured board that you see around. What's your views on? I know you're obviously a traditional estate agent as opposed to an online agent, but what's your views on the online versus high street or hybrid agent?
I think it's right for some people. So, and that's, I'm a traditional agent. I think if you're thinking of using them, you just got to go into it with your eyes wide open and understand that you're not getting a full service estate agency. Although they might claim and put themselves out there as an estate agency, you're basically not getting someone on the end of the mobile phone 24/7 as much as they might put out in their marketing that is the case. And I think if, for some people, it's I've had clients that have come to me and I've said, look, they've said, oh, I'm seeing purple bricks as well. And I've said to them, given that you're home pretty much all the time, you've got a lot of time on your hands, you might be better off giving that a try first than paying my £6,000, £7,000, £8,000 fees. And a lot of the time, it's not successful for them. They don't really realise what they're signing up to, and they've got to pay for viewings packs, and they've got to do a lot of the chasing themselves, and they're not negotiating themselves. They come back to us and say, can you just take over and get it done for me? So I think if you want a done for you service and proper advice from a local, really local agent that knows their stuff, that are really qualified in negotiation, go full service. If you've got a load of time on your hands and you don't work late and you don't want to show people around your house at silly o'clock, then you can go with that kind of model. Yeah. It's understanding what you want as a client and making sure you find something that serves what you want, and you employ, back to what I said before, you employ the right person or company to help you do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good analogy, that of it, people, when I go out and speak to homeowners, I try to relay that on, that they are employing me or our agency, and the more and more that they think about that in that way, I think it would benefit everyone. If anybody's thinking about taking an estate agent on to sell the house, they are your employee for that period of time, whether it be 6 weeks or 6 months, and it is a relationship as well.
And here's the issue: agents see it as a one-way street, because I always say to clients, right, so I've got this big bee in my bonnet about these tie-in contracts, right?
Yep.
So I always say to clients, well, picture you're interviewing people and you said to someone, great, good news, you've got the job for our vacancy at so-and-so company, and they said, oh, hang on a minute, just before I start, can you quickly sign a contract to make sure that I'm guaranteed to have a job for the next 26 weeks, whether I turn up on time, whether I return your calls, whatever happens, I'm guaranteed that I've got a job for 26 weeks. No employer would ever sign that, ever.
No. Of course
only estate agents are expecting sellers to sign that, and they call it a license to be lazy. There's no need for it. If an agent's good, they produce results, they shouldn't need to tie you into a long contract.
Yeah.
So Perry, for our listeners out there, some may want to become estate agents. Some are probably estate agents listening to us, want to improve their services. What could they do if they want to become an estate agent, or if they want to improve their services? What is out there for them?
So there's loads they can do. They can join all the great Facebook groups that are out there. So I run one called The Power Agent. There's John Paul runs one called HG Growth Strategies.
Yeah.
There's loads of great stuff. So type agent or estate agent into Facebook, join them free resources. They can jump on the Power Agent free course. So I've got a condensed free version of the Power Agent course. Just YouTube and just learn. It doesn't have to cost you money. It'll cost you time, but that's time that you can't then go down the pub and get smashed at the weekend. You've got to decide: do I invest my time in improvement, or do I invest my time in getting smashed?
Amazing. So if our listeners wanted to benefit from your services, I know you mentioned you got a free Power Agent course. What could they do, or how could they reach you or benefit from your services?
So all over social, search Perry Power. Actually, there's one guy with the same name as me. So make sure it's this page and not his. And then you've got on my website, perrypower.co.uk, click on the page that says for agents, and then there's loads of resources that'll take you to the free course, the paid course, the members group, and stuff like that.
Amazing. And Perry, well, I think we're going to be wrapping up in literally a minute's time, so I just want to say thank you ever so much for joining us today on Salaam Radio.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
for having me.
thanks ever so much, Barry. Been great to talk to you.
Thanks, Barry.
No worries.
Really
Take
interesting
care.
guest.
All the very best.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, guys, yeah, that's it for today. We've had a really exciting guest, Perry Power, come on to talk about his story and how he helps people move on to the next chapter of his life. So, bit of analysis on that, James, quickly.
Well, just
10 seconds.
Listen, anybody who's an agent, please go and look at him, research what he does, and follow his shining example. And likewise, anybody who's thinking of selling their home, look what he does and the free content he gives that will help you get sold for a better price in a shorter time.
Amazing, guys. Well, thank you ever so much for joining us today on Salaam Radio. Until next week, same time, same place, from myself and Adam, and once a month, James Wilson.
James Wilson.